Rama, 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 Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Zoom call on Bhagavad Gita. Sutapa
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Sutapa Mataji, and joining us today here on Facebook are Vidyavadu Devi Dasi, Namazya Mataji, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, Vijay Lakshmi Nair Mataji, Preeti Radhika Mataji, Achyuta Radha Mataji, and Pran Gopika Mataji. So good to have you on the call today. Hare Krishna. So we will get started now with the Vigyapati Panchika prayers in the morning. And before that, the prayers to the spiritual master. So I'm going to start sharing the screen with you momentarily. And if you can let me know whether you are able to see that. And Varshana Mataji, so happy to have you here. I see that she's connecting to the audio, might not be able to hear me here.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're going to get started here. I'm going to share my desktop to get the Vigyapati Panchika prayers going there. And if anybody can confirm that they're able to see it, that'll help.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
We
Mataji.
can see it.
All right. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma naparadhi cha kaschana parihare pilajame kim bhuve purushottama yuvati nam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvato yatha mano bhi ramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai Bhumau skalita padanam bhumirevaavalambanam tvai jata paradhanam tvameva sharanam prabhu Govinda vallabhe radhe prarthaye tvamaham sada twadiyam iti janatu govindo mam tvaya saha Radhe Vrindavanadhiche Karuna Mritavahini Kripaya Nij Padabja Dasyam Mayam Pradiyatam. Okay, so going over to the translations now, bringing up the translations for you. And Khyati Mataji is going to give us the reading order today. And welcome to the call. Asta Mataji, so happy to have you in the morning session here today. And of course, Priyanka Mataji. I had seen Varshana and I don't know where
Yeah, I think she was having trouble connecting to the audio, so she
Okay.
got dropped off. Probably.
All right, so put her in the spot before me
Yeah.
so that she get a chance
Okay.
to read. All right, okay.
Actually, Mataji, I won't be able to read today after some time, so
All
I
right.
can read until she joins and then give it.
It's that early? Okay, you want to give your slot? All right, no problems. Okay, so whose turn is
The
it?
reading order is Sutapa Mataji, then Varshana Mataji, and she's not there. I will read, and then Priyanka Mataji. So Priyanka Mataji, remember it's either me or Varshana Mataji. Astha Mataji, and I see Ishwari Radha Mataji also joined, so I'll include her as well. And then Shraddha.
But Astha cannot read.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just make the.
Yeah, while you're revising it, maybe you can put you and Varshana before me. That way.
Okay. Yeah.
Only thing happens towards the end. I learned it from you actually. This technique, yeah. That'll help. All right, that's very good. So how are you all feeling today? If you're watching us on Facebook, please type a Hare Krishna so that I know how you are feeling. Hare Krishna means very good, feeling very good.
Yes, Mataji, very good.
Very good. Okay. Nice. What about others? Priyanka, how are things in your neck of the
Yes, Mataji, very good.
Very good. I love the effulgence that surrounds your home.
So what happens is I figured out where I sit, I have a light on top of me. so that I can see the like keyboard and everything, and when I'm writing. And then I think the light outside is still, sun is not that bright, so it's like bluish sky, and that's why it appears like that.
We'll take it. We will take it. Anything that reminds us of Krishna, we'll just take it.
Yeah.
All right. And I think Kathy has got a revised order there. Should we get
Yeah.
going?
So it is Sutapa Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Ishwari Radha Mataji, Varshana Mataji, then myself, and then Shraddha Mataji.
Okay. So let's get going. Let's get.
And Varshana Mataji is back.
All righty. Very good. Okay. So let's get going here.
Okay. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you.
Just trying to see this after Priyanka. Ishwari Radha is here with us.
Oh, Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, Srimati Radha Rani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
All right.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
O Srimati Radha Rani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are the river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam. Hari Bol. Okay. So time for the questions.
Twameva Sharanam Prabhu.
You took that, huh? Very nice.
Always need the shelter.
Always need the shelter. That's a very good that's a very good thing to think about. And I have been also thinking a lot about what Priyanka Mataji shared yesterday, and it was very much liked on Facebook as well. And talking about Facebook, on Facebook we are joined by Gaurangi Singh Mataji and Gautami Ganga Prabhu as well. Those of you who are watching on Facebook, please share your comments there also. And Vidyavadhu Mataji says, Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi cha kaschana. Yes, very nice. And please continue on the Zoom. Yeah, please let us know.
Prathaye tvam sada.
Ooh.
I was saying that too. Prathayetam sada.
Pratayam tvam sada. Yeah, very nice. What else?
Bhumau Kalita Padanam, Bhumireva Valambanam,
Twai,
Twai Jata Parada Nam, Prabhu.
Tvameva Sharanam Prabhu. You said it all, huh? Yeah, this is about surrender to the Lord. And I came across this nice verse last night, and I just thought that I will share this with you. Right? So who goes next? Kathy? Is it Kathy's turn to read? Kathy,
Yes, Mataji, I can.
you're still with us? Okay, why don't you read this verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.34.
Sure. I can't still see Mataji.
Oh, you still can't see? Am I not sharing that? Oh, maybe I'm not. Oh, okay. Yeah, I stopped sharing, isn't it? So I need to share it one more time. Okay, quickly coming up on a screen near you is a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can you see it now, Kathy?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Sakrand eva prapano yas tvasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasme dadamyam idam vratam mama.
Okay, translation.
It is my vow that if only one seriously surrenders unto me, saying, My dear Lord, from this day I am yours, and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on.
What do you think?
Much needed today,
Mataji, I
Mataji.
like that line, from this day I am yours. It is so sweet and everything is in there. Means mercy,
Yeah,
surrender, everything.
yeah, yeah. And what does it mean to say that I'm yours? Right? When people are in love, I'm yours, you are mine. When we get married and reality strikes, I am yours means that, it's okay if you grab my side of the vanity. It's okay if you pull my pillow. That is what it means. That I am yours is that you do whatever when you belong to somebody. It's like you do whatever you want to do to me, right? And that's the mood in which we also have the Sikshastama prayer, Sikshastak prayers also. That and so once we are more, uh, you know, um, conversant and thorough with the Vigyapti Panchaka prayers, maybe we'll pick up the Sikshastak prayers like that,
Hmm.
right? That there are 8 of them, yeah, like that.
And
Okay.
Mataji, I like that mm, God is saying, and praise to me for courage, because whenever I'm saying that, my Lord, from this day I am yours, in back of my mind, slightly a little bit, I am scared that what if I get the miseries as testing, which I won't be able to. So I'm like, not full all heartedly. I'm not asking that, telling that I am all yours. In back of my mind, I'm also asking that, but still, please don't. I
Yeah.
like that he's saying that praise to me for courage, because give me the courage to say that I am all yours.
Yes, yes, very rightly said. Yes, and yesterday, what prompted me to bring up this verse today was that you had said that yesterday that I am surrendered to the Lord, and because I know that I cannot do things on my own. Right? You had mentioned that in yesterday's really long class. So when I came across this verse, I was like, wow, Priyanka Mataji is already on that path, and of surrender. And when we do the surrender, this thought will come to our mind that, I'm surrendering, but what if you have your way with me? I'm scared of that. So this is a good prayer. And maybe if you all agree, then every day we can recite this verse. It won't take more than
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji, this is a good
Why not?
idea.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do that. I sent a copy of this verse to your WhatsApp group so that you have that.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji, we got it.
All right. So any more reflections? Any other reflections?
Mataji,
Yeah,
if you can,
okay, go ahead, Mataji.
no,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna, the prayer that you just showed right now, if you could sing it quickly, just to kind of get an idea how it's supposed to.
Okay, okay. Ooh, let's see, where was the prayer? Okay, it's one of our document, and I was not sharing it with you all.
22:34.
Yeah, it'll be just, yeah, it won't be any, it'll be simple, Jean. Let me know if I can, yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Sure.
Yes.
Sakrit eva prapanno yas tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadyami etad vratam mama. Sakrit eva prapanno yas tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. There you go. Yeah, it's a easy verse that way.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Achita Rajamati says that this is my request that may you and Lord Govinda consider me as your assistant. Hare Krishna. Yes. And about being assistant, my husband always used to tell me, and it never struck me, of course, because I was not coming from a home where we had a car. But he used to say that the worst life is that of a driver. Especially when you're a private driver or somebody, because they will just call you at any time. So if the master has to go to some place and be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, the driver has to be at the master's home at 4 o'clock, which means he has to get up at an unearthly hour and be there. So when you're somebody's servant, that really it is not easy. And similarly, when it comes to being servant of the Lord, it is not easy. But if we try and if we start, then with suitable practice, we'll be able to do that. So Abhyasa yogena kaunteya. He's always saying, do practice, do practice, do practice. And our Soni Mataji has joined us on Facebook today, and so has Rajiv Bansal Prabhu. So welcome to the call, both of you. If you can say Hare Krishna, that'd be great. And Divyangi Mataji also joined there. Fantastic. What else? What else comes to your mind?
Yeah, I was going to tell the same thing, Dasham Mayam Pradiyatam.
That's in my opinion. Anyone of you has got this whole prayer memorized?
Mataji, in between, sometimes I forget, but yes, I have tried to.
So maybe
In
what
the
you,
morning, while cooking, you see, I
So
recite it.
what you should do, what you should do, Varshana Mataji, is to sit down for 10 minutes. Sit down at one place with nothing close to you, right? Not cooking, not anything. Sit down your time, right? 10 minutes. Bring up these prayers and then read the prayers with your eyes on the prayers. Don't close your eyes, right? Even for the parts that you know, don't close your eyes, but look at each and every word and then you recite it. Maybe, 2-3 times you recite, and in 10 minutes you can recite it 2-3 times, like that. You don't have to sing it. Don't sing it because singing takes time, right? Just try to memorize it by reciting it. You'll be done. And this applies to everybody. Yeah.
But Mataji, reciting, you see, what happens is if we recite, the words automatically come to your mouth. You see that
I'm saying don't sing it, but speak it. Yeah, because singing will take more time. Yeah, singing will take more time. Yeah, but you should always recite because then it goes through your ears and go into your heart.
Yeah, today I was listening to Guru Maharaj's lecture. In that also Guru Maharaj recited this. So it was really coming automatically.
There you go. He has been reciting it for a long time now, actually.
Yes, a long time. Yes.
Part of the Mangala.
Now we are noticing it because Mataji, we recite here. So it is we are understanding it.
Yeah. I noticed it because he was reciting it there. So I noticed it because he was reciting it over there. So yeah, because he wanted the congregation to memorize it, and as they are all memorizing it, you're also memorizing it. So that's good. Yeah, thank you, Varshana Mata.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome. So do you think we are ready for the next stage? You have more reflections? What do you say? Oh, Preeti Radhika has it memorized. Fantastic. Yeah.
Mataji, I also have memorized.
Oh, awesome. So 3.
I sing it with my parents.
Ooh, wow. So this means that they also.
Yeah, they like every time we do a prayer together nowadays, like every day. And like when it comes for my turn to sing, it is always Vigyapti Panchaka that they want to hear.
And then you know what? It is in teaching that you learn. His Holiness Harmat Preshak Swami Maharaj says that these great universities are built. Great universities are built so that teachers can learn.
That is very true, Mataji.
Yes, I totally agree.
Very true.
Yeah.
I almost have it memorized too, Mataji.
Wow, I was just wondering why not, Ishwari Radha? You are the one who has chapters about it.
So before chanting the Mahamantra on the beads in the morning, I started offering these prayers.
Wow.
That's very nice.
Mataji, I also memorized only 2 lines. I am just stuck, but I'm trying to reading every day so that 2 lines also I can remember.
Yes, and then I think you know more than 2 lines. It's phrases here and there, and there's some missing words are there. One of the things that also you can do to memorize things is to sit down with a paper and pencil and then start writing, and where you don't know, put a blank and then continue, put a blank, continue, like that. So you will get an idea. So Tapa, you will be surprised how much you know.
Yes.
It's not that you only know 2 lines, you know more than that, right? All these reflections that we have been doing all along, picking up verses, Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyata, you always say that, right?
Actually, Mataji is, Sutapa Mataji is very, kind. She doesn't speak about herself.
Yeah.
She's too good. She's too good, Mataji. She knows many verses.
Yes.
Mataji, thank you so much. No, I'm not. I cannot remember. Miss, I try to. I read, but.
There you go. Yes, very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Anybody on Facebook who has got them memorized? If you haven't, then follow these instructions and these verses will come to you and pray to them. They will come. Yeah. Yeah. And if you speak them loudly, and that's why you see in the nursery, kindergarten, all the kids speak things loudly, right?
Yeah.
Don't even know and they memorize everything, right? I remember my little sister, when she went to school, I asked her that, what did you learn? So she said, what do you do? So we do the prayers. Oh, I have got the prayers memorized. So what are the prayers? So it was something like, keep us sweet and true. Yeah, keep us sweet and pure and true in everything you say and do. So it was a very nice prayer. The thoughts and so how they remember everything. So, oh my dear Lord, this and this and this, and keep us pure and sweet and true in everything we say and do. Good morning, teacher. Everything was in the same thing. I think, no, good morning, teacher is not part of the prayers, but children will just memorize things like that. Yeah. Okay. So what else? Are we ready? And Khyati Mataji, I was thinking that maybe I should share, right? Or what do you say?
Yes, Mataji, you can share today. I'll start sharing from tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and that's fine. No problem, no problem.
Yesterday class was very long, Mataji. It went for a very long time.
Yes,
Nearly
I
quarter
was missing you. Yes, and then I saw you sneak
Same.
on Facebook. I was like, where's
Yes,
my
yes.
Mataji? Couldn't take me away. She came back. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it was nice, and I think it must be somewhere one of you praying that my class get cancelled, and it did.
No, I was thinking that class must be short today, so it will be easy for me to go through in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But when I saw till 8:45, I said, no, not this time.
Okay, here we go. All right, so who goes in next after me? Like who's at the beginning? Sutapa. All right.
Yes, Mataji.
Content of the Gita summarize. Can you give us 2 verses from this? And before that, can you tell me? Can you see it clearly? Is something obscuring it?
Yes, Mataji, we can see it properly.
All right, fantastic. Let's get going then.
So Mataji, but font is very big, so only one verse is fitting fully and the second verse is like
Half of it.
yeah.
Okay, is it
Now it's yeah.
Is it still like that? Okay, sorry about that. Yes, sorry about that. Okay. Thank you. And here we go. All right.
So Mataji, it is your turn to read.
No, you read.
Oh, okay. Sanjay said, see Arjuna full of compassion and mind depressed, his eyes full of tears. Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy.
Text 3. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degradation. Yeah, Mataji, that word is covered.
Oh, it's degrading? Oh,
Yeah, degrading impotence.
Yeah,
It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy.
Okay.
Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship?
It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Text 7.
Yeah, hold on.
Mataji, please scroll it up. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of my miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Hare Krishna.
Sanjay said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. O descendant of Bharata, at that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Text 13. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O Scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata.
Neither he who
Hare
thinks
Krishna.
Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
O Partha, how can a person who knows the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? As a person puts on a new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Text 23. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed.
Text 27. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation?
Some look upon the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being.
Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
Okay, I'm scrolling up.
Text 33. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
Text 37. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield, and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Do not do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, lose or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Okay, time to get the reflections going.
Mataji, I want to ask you something. Like the page 22, as a person put new garments, so we leave the old ones. So we are talking about body only. So if the soul, the samskara and everything we are taking, means the soul is taking to the new body. So when you see some people that they have so many bad habits, and so what do we think that time? Means they have like 4 defects, including the 4 regulative principles they don't follow. So what do we think that time, that already the samskaras was there, or the mind, or the practice? Means they had the propensity to cheat, so they are drinking alcohol. Means everything, means every the bad thing is happening. So it is the body they are doing that, or it was like soul or mind.
Yes. So here's an example. Suppose we did that prayer today, right? The new verse that we did. Sakya Deva Papanno, yes, that prayer. And so I sent you a screenshot of that in your WhatsApp, right? And I will post it on Facebook also momentarily. Now, you desire to print it, right? So who is desiring it? The soul desires it. The soul has to have a desire to print it, and that will get manifested as a thought in the mind. So in the beginning, the desire, it's the soul that triggers off things by desiring it, right? So when you desire something, and so going back to your desire of now, that you're desiring to print something, like you would like to print a prayer. That was your desire. What will you do?
We print. We'll go to the printer and we'll print.
And you will print. Okay. So you had a desire, and then that thought was created that I need to print, and then obviously it's the mind that's manifesting that thought, and then Where is the thought communicated? What did you say? I will go to the printer, right? So who goes to the printer? How do you go to the printer?
The body.
Yeah, right. So the legs are going to walk. So the karmendriya are going, right? So, and we had said the hierarchy that lowest is the dull matter, like the piece of paper on which you're going to print the prayers. So that's the lowest level. And above the dull matter are the senses, and above the senses is the mind, right? So the mind can control the legs and tell you that, hey, you have to go to the printer. The legs are going to the printer. Okay. Now, do you know how motion happens in a body? You walk to the printer, but do you know how many? Can you name the bones that are there in your legs? Can you explain how the muscles are there? Can you tell how the bones operate as a lever? Can you tell me how the muscles flex, and so on and so forth, right? And of course, you can't just walk to the printer like that. You have to be able to see where the printer is, right? To know. And on the way, if there are some obstacles, so your Gyanendriya is also helping you, right? Go to the printer. Now, the soul doesn't know. The soul doesn't know the intricacies of how all these things work, but you had the desire to print, right? So the soul has a desire to print, but the body helps you in executing that desire. Okay, so you go there, and then you go to the printer, you sit on the computer, and you open up, you go to WhatsApp, and there's a button there which says print. Right click and you do print, and it prints. Now, do you know the software on the computer, how the actual printing happens, how the command, how pressing a button on your keyboard actually translates into the software, goes to the printer drivers, and prints it like that, right? And then the eyes are looking like, oh, I forgot to switch on the printer. To see, the eyes are again gathering information for you. And then you decide, okay, I'm going to press the button on the printer, the power button, and it prints. So similarly, so you see from this example that things start as a desire from the soul, and then your mind and your body, which is basically your subtle body and your gross body, which includes your senses, will help you in executing that desire. But all these things that are happening, there's also one element which we always forget, and that is the sanction of the Supreme Lord. Unless the Supreme Lord sanctions, you just cannot walk to the printer. We will wobble and we will fall down, right? We will hit something and we'll fall down. Or the power supply will go off, or your printer will die. So you see, there are various factors to an action being completed, but at the beginning of it, there is the soul that thinks of that, right? So depending on the kinds of desires that the soul has, the consciousness of the soul is formed accordingly, right? Good thoughts or bad thoughts, good thoughts or bad thoughts, and they will become, the thoughts are produced by the mind, depending on what the soul is actually wanting it to do, right? And we forget that. And why we forget that is because all these thoughts are accumulated in our mind. All these decisions, all these desires from times immemorial are etched in our mind, and that is called as samskaras. So we will, so whenever a similar situation arises, the mind is there, it'll bring up from the database that, when this thing happened, this is what we did the last time. And the intelligence, who has the power to discriminate, can say, okay, we're going to do that, and submit that this is what we should do. Like, how a subordinate or a low person at a lower level in an office will do all the groundwork and then submit the thing to the boss, and then the boss signs it and says, okay, approved, and it gets done like that. So intelligence will also come and say, like, here is one proposal, here is another proposal. The choice is yours. And then the boss says, okay, that's the pros and cons, and okay, I like this one, okay, let's go and do this one. So similarly, the soul is the boss, you are the boss, and we forget that we are the boss of our mind also, but we forget that because of all these things that are going and our desire and all that, and we try to blame the mind. And that's why in the beginning, when our mind is only capable and only bringing up all the wrong thoughts which are there, we start to blame the mind, and we say that my mind is my enemy. But when you understand all these things philosophically, like you are understanding it now, that you are actually the root cause, because you are the one who's desiring everything, either desiring it now or have already desired it in your previous births, like that. Okay, so once you understand that, then you say, oh, if I'm the one who's desiring it, then I can control it, right? If mind is my subordinate, I can control it. So that's when you start. asking more questions, going through more practice, going into realizing that devotional service helps you clear the mirror of your mind. So you'll start doing those activities till you start purifying your own desires. And when your desires are purified, then your mind will automatically get purified like that. And your body will automatically start doing the right things there, right? So, so then you also said that there are 4 defects, right? So there are 4 defects in the body. And so those 4 defects are defects of the material nature, material world. Those defects are not the defects of the soul. Those defects are the defects of the cage in which we are, right? So as long as we know Drishti evat manishvare, to know that I am the Ishwar, I am actually the controller, I'm some sort of a controller of this body, in the sense that I can control what I think. I can do that. I'm not that helpless. It's just that I think that I'm helpless. We think that we are a cat. Actually, we are a lion, like that, right? We are not cats, by way of our power to be able to do certain things. And that is why, and we don't realize that. And why we don't realize that is because we keep no gap between thinking, feeling, willing, and acting. It happens on autopilot like that, very quickly, very quickly. And so we have to learn to bring that gap, increase the gap between thinking and feeling and willing, right? Like you thought, I want to print something, right? So there is that, and there's the person saying, oh yes, I'm going to print this. A thought can come to your mind that, why do you really have to print it? Why are you wasting paper? Trees are being cut, you see? So intelligence can present certain things in front of you. So they're thinking there's some feelings going on, but then there is a bill. You will decide, I'm going to do this or not. I'm going to print or not. No, I need that printout, like that. So, and sometimes that decision to print it could have a very valid reasons. That I'm not in front of the computer all the time. My hands hurt. I can't work on the computer all the time. I want to memorize the prayers when I'm cooking. So I want to have the prayers by my side. So it's not that printing things is bad, right? If you're using paper in the service of the Lord, it's okay. Maya has to be used in the service of the Lord. So you make that decision, and so you're willing to print it, and then you do the action. You go to the printer and you start doing the set of actions which are required, right? Now, so we have to remember that we caged in the body, that we can make mistakes, right? Instead of pressing the print button, we can press some other button on the computer and keep on pressing it and get frustrated. Why is it not printing? And then realize, oh, my hands are on the wrong button. I thought this said print, and for something else, pause, right? Print and pause. Or I forget to switch on the printer, and I'm just sitting there and wondering, why is it taking such a long time for it to print? So we have a tendency to make mistakes. We have a tendency to be illusion, and so on and so forth. But those are the tendencies of the body, right? So those are the 4 defects which are there in the body, right? And then the 4 regulative principles that you mentioned are ways that will help us to purify our consciousness. No alcohol, no meat eating, no gambling, right? For example, if you want to print, and then somebody puts down like 6 glasses of alcohol and then goes and starts to print, like he can't find his way, right? Like that. So, I mean, I just gave a funny example, but then alcohol had its own more serious implications on anybody's lives, like that. So we have got these 4 defects, and then, in order to purify our existence, to purify our mind, we follow these 4 regulative principles, which will help us, fight against Maya when she comes and starts to present things to us. Right? So when we are doing these things, when we are making these wrong decisions, yes, they are coming from the samskaras, because we are on an autopilot. We don't think, we just do things mechanically. We should not be doing things mechanically, although people might admire that, right, a lot, that, oh, this is now second nature to me. Okay, yeah, but then be cognizant and be aware of what you are doing. And in the beginning, it might be difficult, but once you do it and once you start practicing it, you will notice that in the beginning, you will notice that you're doing wrong after you have done it. For example, if we make a
Yeah.
decision, if you make this huge decision, if I make this huge decision that I'm going to speak politely to my spouse today, no matter what, that's a huge decision, isn't it? Yes or yes?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
We make that huge decision that we are going to tolerate, right? Our spouse today. So then what's going to happen? It's a 24-hour day, and 24-hour
Oh,
will a day will never appear longer than after you make this commitment that I'm going to be good for one,
yeah.
one day. I'm going
Other,
to be good.
other, yeah, yes, Mataji. The other day, Mataji, when I mentioned to you that somebody sent me the very nasty messages, one after the other. You see, all three family members sent the same forward. They forwarded it, same message. So it was really disturbing. Then, Mataji, today I had a lecture. I mean, Satyavati Mataji gave lecture on Shiksha Ashtakam. And Mataji, I mean, when I heard that, I said, I'm the biggest fool. Why am I bothered about it? Keep Krishna in the center. He will take care of it. Who are you to take care of it? You cannot solve it. You cannot tell them. You cannot do anything. When you cannot do it, then why sulk? It is better to leave it in Krishna's hand and request him, pray to him that please give them some senses that this is not right.
You got it. Thank you to
Yes,
Satyavati Mataji for drilling it in you. Yep.
yes, Mataji. This was a big realization today.
Yes. Sometimes we realize it ourselves that we are fools, and sometimes it requires Krishna to tell us, Ashochiyan anavashochastvam pragyavadam sabhashase gatasuna gatasuncha nanu shochanti pandita. Right? He scolds Arjuna like, you're talking like a learned man. You're using words that learned men use, but you are actually a fool. Yeah, the
Yeah.
we are fools. It is better for all of us, me included, right? I mean,
Yes,
I
Mataji.
had this, and the bad thing is that the material world that's around us and the accolades that we get from the material world are for material achievements, majorly, right? And that can get to our head, and we can think that we are.
And yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. And beautiful message was sent to me by Sutapa, saying that not replying itself is a replying, something like that, she said. And I said, yes, it is very good. You see, if you don't reply, it is taken as a reply that, yes, I'm not bothered.
Yes, it is. It's a very interesting point, and I'll elaborate that a little bit more because, well, so here it is. Silence is a killer. Silence can kill, and it's a very strong weapon. It's stronger than
Yeah, yes.
right. And so there are two ways in which somebody is. I shouldn't be saying that on Facebook and internet, but if
No,
you
Mataji.
if you really want to fluster somebody, like if somebody is behaving like that to you, um, and you have a desire to take revenge, the best revenge doesn't come from replying back, choosing suitable words, finding an equally nasty message to send it back to them, because then it'll keep on going back and forth, and you will exhaust yourself because you're a devotee. How much more nasty words can you say, right? The better is to, another option that will come is to just cut them off, remove them from the WhatsApp, right? But then, in doing that, also the other person gets a little bit of satisfaction that they frustrated you so much that you took that action. So they know that they were successful in making you angry. But as Sutapa suggested, just keep quiet.
Yeah.
Keep quiet. And don't remove them from your WhatsApp group if you have that strength, because they might send another message, the strength to ignore it. Then let them stay in the WhatsApp group, because history tells us that these people who are nasty to us sometimes come to you later in life, begging for mercy, begging to tell you about Krishna and things like that. So that is why, even if people are bad, we let them be there. We don't interact with them on a daily basis, but let Krishna cook. And when they are ready, Krishna will send them to you again. It happens many times.
Yeah.
So
Very nice.
yeah,
Thank
thank you for sharing that. And then, so going back to what I was saying, that there are, so where was I? I lost my throat. So I was answering your question, Sutaba Mataji, and so you were talking about the four defects, and you were talking about the mind, and yeah. So I was saying that we blame the mind, and we think that the mind is an enemy, and we are under the control. And yes, the mind seems to have fierce godlike powers. Srimad Bhagavatam says that, and sometimes the mind even is able to control our intelligence. It can do that to us. But once we know, philosophically we understand, and we decide to practice, we can slowly, by staying in the moment and really observing our thoughts as to what we are going through, what exactly am I doing. And I was telling, oh yeah, now I remember, I was telling you about making this huge commitment of tolerating our spouse for one day, right? And so you make that decision, and the first time you realize that you have been nasty is after you have been nasty. You did it, and then you realize that, oops, today I was supposed to be good. What happened? I said it. Yep, it comes as autopilot. Why? Because thinking, feeling, willing, acting, very short duration between all of them. Immediately they happen, one after the other, one after the other, like that. And then the second time, then you make up your mind, sankalpa, no, 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 I'm not supposed to do that. I promised myself I'll behave. And then the next time what happens is that, or maybe several times later, depending on, so next time it'll happen that, as you are speaking the nasty words, you are thinking that I'm not supposed to do this, and it is coming out of you like a force. And Krishna says that to Arjuna, that you will do it. You're right now, you're saying I won't do it, but later on you will do. You're saying you're not going to fight, but later on you are going to fight, because it's your nature. Like that. So this 24-hour vrata actually can
Yeah,
be extended
being tripped.
can get extended to many days before you really get into the practice. So thinking, feeling, feeling, and acting, and the next time is that, before that is coming, now you're being very observant of what you're doing, and you are saying, oh, so the thought is being formed, oh, the sentence is being formed in my head. I'm not going to say it like that. Walk away, go to another room, put something in your mouth. Sadam, preferably. And don't say it. You will be happier. You'll be happier for not having said that, whatever you're going to say.
Yes, Mataji, I have found that thing is that grab Bhagavatam and start reading.
Yes, 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 yes. Very good thing. It will calm you down. Yes, it will calm
Yes.
you down. Leave the soul, leave the area which is agitating your mind, and then if possible, leave it. And then, and as you go further in advancement in devotional service, what is he saying? Mars pashastu kanteya sitoshun sukha dukkada agam apinyo anityastam titikshasva bharata. So all these agitations that come to you from outside the world, right? The spouse agitating you. Why do we get agitated? Why do we even get angry at our spouse? Let's see the reason.
Because sometimes it's our expectation
Yeah.
that we expect every time good behavior and every time yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, but that's a general thing. Give me an example of why one would get angry at the spouse. One simple, easy example. We are on internet. Just reminding you.
Because I don't know if this is right, Mataji, but I think that we think that they belong to us, or
No.
no.
Yeah. No. No. That's not what you're saying is not wrong. What I'm saying is that my question is, give me an example of why one would be angry at the spouse. One
They're
example.
doing something that you don't like.
More specific.
Mataji, in my case, my Prabhu is very quiet, so I get agitated when he doesn't reply right away.
Good. Okay, so that is the reason that he's not talking, so I'm getting agitated. Okay, now step back a few, and see why. Why should I get angry if he's not talking?
Right, because I'm expecting the answer right away.
Right. So expectation is a desire. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, That why does anger come? Anger comes from desire.
Yeah.
Kama's younger brother. What's Kama's younger brother's name?
Ka-
Kama
Kam-
has a younger brother. We did that. You know it.
Desire.
Huh?
Anger. Last time
Anger. Krodha. Yeah.
also,
Kama has a younger brother called Krodh. Right? So you have the desire that he should talk to me. Right? And why should he talk to me? Because he's my husband. And that brings to the point Ishwari Radha was saying, that we think we possess them. So if I want him to talk, he should
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
But these are things which are outside my circle of influence. I can't open my husband's mouth and make him words come out from there.
Right.
So you have to notice that everything that happens to every time the anger comes to us, if you start analyzing it, you can always link that to a desire. And it could be a simple desire. I want the coffee cup after it is being drunk, and I'm meaning like herbal coffee. I want the coffee cup to be kept in a particular place in the sink. It has to be kept a particular way in the dishwasher. It's not kept there. And I get angry at that. Right? So it's always rooted in the desire. So and that's why I'm saying that from the level where we are able to say that I've already gotten agitated and I have learned how to keep quiet, right? Like that, we become even more evolved from that stage where we go and say that I'm not even bothered. I'm not even the controller of my husband. It's okay if he doesn't answer. He's like that. I know he will give an answer after two hours, or he's absent-minded and things like that. It's better I go to and talk to Krishna. You pick up a Bhagavatam and I talk. It'll always give you much better results, guaranteed. Like that.
And Mataji, I have found that, and that position means when the anger is coming, you start say Krishna's name or whatever, means already you have done chanting. You just, if you're cooking, you just cannot go and read something. So you start taking Krishna's name. So it will cool down your
It
mind.
will. Yes, Krishna. Thank you for bringing that. Yes, Krishna's name will cool you down.
And Mataji, I wanted to share something
Please.
about what you just said, that when you get angry, you need to go to Krishna, right? So a few times this has happened to me. And one time it was my kids, of course. They're doing something or, that I don't want them to do, or they're not attending the arti that I want them to attend, all these things. So one day when that happened, I was about to get upset and I said, no, why don't we just continue with our program and continue reading, and then it'll be fine. And that's what happened. I was so upset, fire inside. It's after my arti, I sat down and I opened up the book and I started reading. I said, oh my God, this is so much calming. And immediately you feel like, okay, I'm not in control. Why am I getting so upset again? Over and over again.
Exactly. Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Very nice. Very nice realization.
It is like that. It is. Krishna's name is like that. That's why Krishna Nama Chintamani.
Thank you for sharing, Mataji.
Whatever you like, whatever you like, you can get out of the name, the holy names of the Lord. That's why we say you should always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama, Rama, Rama, Hare.
And you know what? Suruchi Mataji joining us on Facebook with Narottam Das and Vinu Kohli Mataji. She had said that Krodh is the younger brother of Kama. So she remembered that. Thank you, Soni Mataji. Okay, good. Yeah. So Sutapa, does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yes.
All right. So are we ready then to go to the verse for today?
Yes, Mataji.
All righty. And do you know what verse it is?
2.16.
2.16. Thank you for 20 points. There we are. And do we know who's going to read now?
Mataji, it's your WhatsApp screen is showing.
My WhatsApp screen is showing?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I shared the wrong desktop. Okay. So you guys read all my WhatsApp messages.
No, not the messages, only that.
I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. Can you see 16 now?
Yes, Mataji. but there is the Sanskrit is not there. The words is
Only
not
the
only the
all the translations are there, Mataji.
Yeah. And then whose turn is it to read? For some reason, it's not opening up for me. So let's see. I think it's, let me just reload that. Oh, yeah, it came up. Okay, good. So, chapter number, share screen. Desktop number 2, share. Here we go. Can you read it now?
yes, Mataji.
And whose turn is it? Khyati Mataji had read the prayers for us, right? That new prayer. Who goes after Khyati? Is that right? And I see Manasi and Suyash, and I don't know whether they are in a condition to read. Manasi, Suyash, can you not?
We can, but Mataji, please skip us today.
Oh, sure, no problem. Yeah, I just saw you there. We had already skipped you today, but I saw you there. Thought, oh wow, okay. So then, who goes?
Jaya is here, no, so Mataji, I can also read.
Why don't you read then, Jaya?
Okay. Let me go over.
And then we'll go back to our cycle with Jaya coming before me. But anyway, there's not much reading to do now. Can you see my screen being?
Yeah, I can see. The Sanskrit, should I start there?
Yeah, just read this part, the Sanskrit part, the Sanskrit slokas, and then somebody else will do. Yeah.
Okay. Nasto vidyate bhava, nabhavo vidyate sta. Ubhyor api drasto nats tav anyos tatva drasi bhi.
Bihi. Okay, good. Synonyms. Who gives us the synonym?
Never. Astha, of the non-existent. Vidyate, there is. Bhava, endurance. Never. Abhava, changing quality. Vidyate, there is. Sata, of the eternal. Ubhayo, of the two. Api, virile. Drashta, observed. Anta, a conclusion. Tu, indeed. Anaho, of them. Tattva, of the truth. Darsi bhi, by the seers.
By the seers. Okay. So before we go, and so Jia, what I'll be doing with you is that I will, every once in a while I'll be telling you a few things on how to pronounce the Sanskrit. And so for today, we'll just take this letter R here, right? You see that? Where we pronounce it, there's the R here, which has got a dot underneath it, and there is a R here also, right? So there has got to be a difference in how we pronounce this word and how we pronounce this, right? Because they have put a dot. So you said darsha bihi, and that is correct, right? Darsha bihi, because that's how R is just pronounced as ra, right? So when the R is there. But when a R has got a dot in it, it's a totally different letter from the Sanskrit alphabet that it is pointing out. And it is ri, as in rishi, right? So instead of calling this as drishta, we will call it as drashta, we call it as drishta. Right? Re, the sound of re is there. If you look at the Devanagari here, you see, this is where it is written. It is drishta, right? And with practice, you will know. I think everybody who's on the call today always
Yeah,
3-4
thank
months
you
ago
for-
started with
yeah.
drashta, started with calling it a ra, and Rashana is smiling because we went over it many times. Okay, good.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also on the reading order, what we do is that one person reads the Sanskrit, then other person comes in and does the synonyms like that. Because if some person is having difficulties in reading this, then they will get to hear it from somebody else when they are doing the synonyms like that. Okay. So, and it's okay if you read it,
Makes sense.
yeah. That's fine. I'm
No,
just telling you
totally.
the protocols. Okay. Then going on to the translations, and who's going to give us the translations now? We're going to start, right? Sutapa?
Yes, Mataji. Translation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. These they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
Purport. There is no endurance of the changing body, that the body is changing every moment by the actions and reactions of the different cells is admitted by modern medical science and thus growth and old age are taking place in the body. Next person can read.
But the spirit soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite all changes of the body and the mind. That is the difference between matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever changing and the soul is eternal. This conclusion is established by all classes of seers of the truth, both impersonalists and personalists. In the Vishnu Purana 2.12.38, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotimshi Vishnu Bhavanani Vishnu. The words existent and non-existent refer only to spirit and matter. That is the version of all seers of truth.
Hare Krishna. This is the beginning of the instruction by Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Removal of ignorance involves the re-establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable. Mataji, worshipable and the consequent understanding of the difference between the part and parcel living entities and the supreme being. What is it? I lost it. Part and parcel living entities and the supreme personality of Godhead. One can understand the nature of the supreme by thorough study of oneself. The difference between oneself and the supreme being understood as a relationship between the part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutra as well as in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural sequences. Next can read, Madhuri. Hare Krishna. The living entity.
The living entities belong to the superior nature as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as the supreme and the energy or nature is accepted as the subordinate. The living entities therefore are always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as in the case of the master and the servant or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance, and to drive away such ignorance, the teacher teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities for all time. Hari Om. That's it. Okay, reflection time.
So we are always part and parcel. We are never the whole. So we need to serve the whole.
Good. What else?
Yes.
What else did you gather from this fantastic verse?
We are always subordinate.
We always subordinate.
And this body is constantly changing.
This body is constantly changing, right? Did we do some verse which talked about this body is constantly changing?
No.
Mataji, we talked about that, how everything is changing, like the distress and the happiness, they
Right.
come and go on their own.
Did we do that?
Specific.
Kamaram yavanam
Smith.
jara
Oh, yeah.
tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tatra namohyati dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara.
Go ahead.
Tatra namuyati. Okay, I
Tatha
can.
dehantar praptir dhiras tatra namohyati.
Yate.
Right, so that verse is saying, so what's going to happen in these verses, and you will notice that I keep on going back and forth between these verses. and this is how it is. So Krishna it will say some points, and actually in this chapter he will also repeat certain points for emphasis, and for us like that, right? And of course Preeti Radhika had typed dehinosman yatha dehe, but it came a little late to us because of the lag from Facebook. Yeah. So and Vidyavadu is saying that Krishna removes our ignorance by teaching Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, that is very true. And welcome Rohit Kumar Prabhu. Yeah. Okay. And then yes, and Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, I will do as you instructed me there. Good. So what and Krishna's also going to do that, and he's explaining certain concepts. He'll come back and re-emphasize, or when we read certain things, certain verses, we'll go back and again try to connect the dots again here, right? So today's verse was na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayor api ditstontas tvayanos tattvadarshibhihi. So basically, on the face of it, it looks like a very simple thing, right? And right, what's the big deal about this verse, right? Practical, very matter of fact, just stated something over there. So I'm going to bring up the translation once again here so that we can look at the translation now and see what is written there in the translation. I'm sharing text talk 2 with you, and if someone can confirm.
Yes, Mataji.
Right? So there are certain things to notice about this particular verse, right? So what does that verse say? It is telling us, let me just close this here. Here. Those who are seers, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So what do you get from this verse? Let's read this.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. The body has to, it is perishable, and soul is eternal.
Okay, good. And then if you go into this particular verse in Sanskrit itself, right? So we know that we have heard many times that the soul is Sat, Chit, and Anand.
Anand.
Right? So which aspect are we talking about here? Sat or Chit or Anand? Which one are we talking about of the soul? Which from the
Sat.
Sat, exactly. So we're talking about Sat. Sat means eternal.
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 So if we go back here into this, so he's saying na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah. So if we take the word satah or sat in Sanskrit, which means eternal, and if we substitute that word, that meaning eternal, then it will become, the translation will become, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the eternal there is no endurance, and of the eternal there is no change. Of the non-eternal there is no endurance, and of the eternal there is no change, right? This they have concluded by studying the nature of both, right? So you see that if we just use the word sat and asat, like sat means eternal and asat means non-eternal or non-permanent or temporary, then the sloka will just mean, the sloka will just say that those who have seen the truth, the wise men, they are saying that, what are the wise men saying? Oh, they are saying that if something is temporary, that means it does not endure. And if something is permanent, then there is no change in it, like that, right? So then when poetry is written like that, I'm just going to close that so that I can see you. If poetry was to be written like that, what is the big deal of writing poetry on that? What is the big information that you're giving me? You're just explaining the definition. You're saying that what is impermanent does not endure, and what is eternal does not change, or like that. So
Hare Krishna Mataji. They have, sorry Mataji, you complete the sentence.
No, Varshana went first. Okay, you complete, Varshana.
Mataji, because they have studied the nature of both. So this was important because they studied that it is the soul is eternal
Yeah, yeah.
and the
No, no, no,
body is
no, 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 no,
non-permanent.
no, 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 not the soul. You get the point. I'm talking about poetry and about the choice of words, right? So I'm saying the word sat means eternal, right? And eternal
Yeah.
means that, will not change, will remain forever. And asat means that doesn't remain things forever. So if I'm saying, if Krishna is telling this to Arjuna, that Arjuna, look here, whatever is non-existence, that does not stay, whatever is asat does not stay, right? There is no endurance, does not stay, it'll finish, right? Does Arjuna not know that? It's just a simple statement. It's a grammar. I'm giving you the word and meaning. I'm saying asat means this and sat means that. That's all. But Krishna doesn't speak like that. This we have to remember. This is Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is there not to explain to him grammar. He's there to explain to him metaphysics, and to him and to us. Arjuna knows it already, but he's been put under delusion and bewilderment so that Bhagavad Gita can be spoken, right? This fact that there is a soul becomes news for many people, believe me. You all come from a background that you have the cultural momentum, that you grew up where people are saying, anything falls down, they say, hey Ram, hey Krishna, hey Bhagwan, Atma chali gayi. They are already talking. So we are lucky to be born in a place like that. But there are many people who don't even know that. There are many who don't even know that a dog has got a soul, this has got a soul, and that has got a soul, right? So that is why it is very important for acharyas to come and do the translation for us. Because if somebody, and not anybody and everybody can do translation of Bhagavad Gita, and that's what Prabhupada said, that a person who can translate the Bhagavad Gita has to be a devotee of the Lord and has to see things, right, with the eyes of a devotee to be able to see what Bhagavad Gita is actually trying to tell you, right? And so that is why we say that Prabhupada, we should read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita because it is Bhagavad Gita as it is, right? So he's preserving what our previous acharyas have told us. So you see that when Prabhupada is translating, and in Sanskrit and in other languages also, one word can have many meanings, right? One word can have many meanings. So here you see how is he translating? Asat is non-existent, pure Sanskrit. And what is Sat? Sata is eternal. Right? But here, what did he do in the translation? What change did he make? Do you notice something?
Can you show the translation again?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was sharing that with you. Oh, sorry. I was just wondering why is nobody responding. I forgot that. Okay, yeah. So it's coming up on a screen close to you from my desktop too. Here we go.
The word endurance, Mataji.
Mm-hmm. No, see how he translates the word eternal.
The soul, and then for non-existent, he says the material body.
Material. So you see, so it requires a guru who will be able to tell us this difference. Because we can be Sanskrit scholars. And that is why when Prabhupada came to USA, he was saying there were 20 versions of Bhagavad Gita already translated by people who did not even know the science of God. So you can go get into the language and you can mechanically translate that. You can come up with the synonyms, go to a database, find out the meaning, first meaning that you hit, you do it. That's what Google does for you, right? Goes into engine, but you require intelligence on top of that to be able to say what exactly is Krishna saying. Otherwise, it's just a simple statement there. Yeah? It's just a definition. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of that? Right? He's not saying that. Krishna's words are very, very powerful. So, and then it requires an acharya to tell us that, to open our eyes. And that's why we say, Chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. It requires a teacher to tell you that, oh no, here, well, the word sat has got many meanings. And in this particular shloka, you have to pick up that meaning. Right? So that's one thing we need to remember about this particular verse. And then there is another thing also, And that has got to do with poetry, and it is beautiful. Now, you see in the morning when your turn comes to read, if we are so excited about reading, and if we get the Sanskrit word, we are even more excited, right? Even though we might not know how to pronounce it, but we still want to pronounce it. Why? Because you get a taste out of pronouncing the Bhagavad Gita. Why do you get a taste? Why do you get a taste of that? Why did Ishwari Radha tell me for that new verse that I said? Why did you said you sing it, Mataji, and tell me? Right? Because she wants to relish. She wants to relish the poetry, right? So there is prose, which is fine. We are relishing the prose also. And the reason we are relishing the prose is that because we are getting knowledge. Prose will give you knowledge, and poetry gives you pleasure, right? So it's written very nicely. So let's just go back and look at the verse one more time to see how this particular verse is constructed, right? And let's see. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. So do you see there's some sort of a resemblance between the first sentence and the second sentence? Is there
Yes.
some sort of a, what's going on there? Can somebody decipher what's happening there?
Sata Bhavo
Bhavo
Vidyate are
With
just rearranged.
The words are rearranged. Isn't that interesting or what? Right? So the
Yes.
hats off to who's speaking all this,
Krishna.
Lord Krishna.
right? And then hats off to Sanjay who narrated that, and then hats off to our Vyasdeva who documented all this for us, right? So this is a particular style of poetry that you write, it's a play of words, right? The emphasis, vidyate, bhavo, and sata, right? These three are connected, juxtaposed in a particular manner, right? So this style of writing, where so na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. Let's go and look at the meaning for this. What does it mean here? So here he's saying, of the non-existence there is no endurance, right? And of the eternal, that is of the existent, eternal, the soul, there is no change. Okay? So here there is endurance, and then there is no change. So here, no endurance means it changes, right? And no change means it doesn't change. So there's an opposite there, right? And of course, they're talking about non-existent and the existence, eternal and the non-eternal. They're talking about the body, they're talking about the soul. So this particular style of writing, this figure of speech is called chiasmus. Chiasmus. Let me just write it down for you on our WhatsApp group, so that you can see what I mean by that. Chiasmus, who we are San Mateo Bhaktived's group. And so it's amazing that, sometimes what we do is we just think that I'm just typing to you here, that's when distracted. San Mateo Bhakti Vriksh, I'm trying to find you. Bhakti Vriksh. How come I don't find? Okay, it's Bhakti Vriksh San Mateo. Okay. Can you confirm, somebody who's looking at WhatsApp, that you got it?
yes, Mataji.
Right? So these,
Yeah.
so these are this is pronounced as chiasmus, and why it is called chiasmus? Why it is called chiasmus is that the chi, right? The chi, 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 that the word chi is coming from the Greek language, right? The Greek language, in the Greek language, the word X stands for chi. Chi is the letter X in the Greek language, like that, okay? Here, X. So in chiasmus, what happens? X means opposite, right? Orthogonal is how we say. One is going in this direction, one is going in that direction. So you get the X sign like that over here. And so chiasmus is one sentence will be turned around and kind of become an opposite of the other statement. right? So in our verse of today, do we find some opposition there, right?
Yes, yes.
And what is it? And what is it? What are the two opposite
That
concepts?
that Mataji's soul is
Sat,
eternal,
Asat.
sat and asat, and body is non-permanent. That is asat, material body.
Yes, you see, so there are two opposite concepts that are being described there in this particular verse. So this is known as a chiasmus, and we use that. We have come across chiasmus in our other lives also, in our life, day to day mundane life. Also, we come across that. Maybe we just did not put it and bucket it as, okay, this is a chiasmus that we are looking at. For example, Subhash Chandra Bose in India, he said, "तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा." Right? So, it's talking about, you give me something and then you will get something in return. So there's a giving and then there's a receiving. You are going to give blood and then you are going to get azadi as a result of that, like that. So this is a typical example of a chiasmus. Here in USA, very famous, very, very famous saying, was that I think it was one of the USA presidents. He said, what did he say? It was, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country.
What you can do.
Right?
Abraham Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a chiasmus. So here also in this Sanskrit verse, we are talking about na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Right? It's a beautiful poetry. It's a beautiful, style of writing that poetry. So see how Krishna speaks. Even in the midst of a war, he's bringing in poetry like that. He's thinking of chiasmus. He's thinking. So why did we have to use this terminology, right? Why do we no? Now, when you're reading it, when you're reciting this verse, it sounds very nice, right? It catches our mind very nicely, right? So our attention goes to that. Our attention will go there. Now, one of the things to notice about this is that when something is written in this style of writing, right? You're employing a chiasmus to set across or bring forth a point, then it sounds very clever. It sounds very clever the way you see it, right? Ask not what the country can give you. Ask what you can give to the country. So there's some emphasis there from the words, and suddenly you're like, yeah. I think, yeah, what he's saying is right. Right? So when you are using, it's very clever. Oh, he's so good at words, right? But then it also becomes something which is very hard to refute. How can you argue with that? So mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga. Yes, freedom doesn't come for free. You have to pay the price, and he's asking for blood. And you see what was happening around in India at that time, and it had to be done like that. Similarly, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. So these are when you put statements like that, they become hard to refute. And of course, Krishna wants Arjuna to understand what he's trying to say, so he's using this, right? And then also, there's also, and sometimes there's a little element of surprise also there, like, oh yeah, I didn't put these two together. I never thought of it this way. I never thought of thinking of these two orthogonal statements at the same time, right? That, oh yeah, I'm always been thinking about the material, but then there is another aspect of it. I've always been complaining about non-permanent and this and that, and never looked at the other aspect of it, which is, oh wow, there are certain things which are permanent. So these kinds of statements, by putting things in an orthogonal manner, are going to shake you into looking at the other side as well, like that. So you have to, and also, by putting these two things, juxtaposing these two concepts in the same shloka, Krishna is forcing you to now think of the relationship between them, right? Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga. It's telling you the relationship, that freedom requires something. Like similarly, of the soul there is no endurance, but of the material there is no endurance, but of the soul there is endurance. And then you try to say, okay, so what's the deal? Oh, the soul is inside the body. Oh, now I understand what verse 2.13 from the Bhagavad Gita meant, where he was saying, dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaran yavanam jara tata dehantar prapte dhiras tatra muhyati. Now you'll say, oh, now I get it. Okay, so what he's saying is, that of the soul, there is no change. Good news for me. Why? Because my body is deteriorating. My body is changing. Kaumaram yavanam jara. We don't like jara, old age. We don't like that at all. So here Krishna is saying that, yes, it is a fact. You see the connection? Because you are a
Yeah.
soul, you are inside a body, and now you see the connection that of the soul, of the body, there will always be changes. There will be no endurance for the body. And indirectly, he's saying that your grandfather and your teacher are in any case going to die. There will be no endurance. The bodies are going to die, right? And you can already see, Uvacha partha paschayatan samvetan kuruniti. He said, look at them. So Krishna is saying, and in that look, you can look at anything. You can look at your young boy, Abhimanyu, and you can look at your great grandfather, at your grandfather, or great grandfather, Bhishma. So you can look at him and see that he is old. So see for yourself what is happening to this material world. See. And now I am telling you this truth that, and which is the best possible news that anybody can get, and that is that of the soul, there is no change. And then he will go on further to tell you that the soul never ages, never dies, is never withered, cannot be conquered, cannot be this, cannot be that. He'll go on to imply more on that. If you are in a noisy background, can you please mute yourself like that? So, okay, good, thank you. So that's one thing that we need to remember, that we are this body is non-existent. I mean, and when he's saying that body is non-existence, we might just come to the conclusion, and Prabhupada warns in his lectures, he says that just don't run with this word and say this material world does not exist, because they said of the non-existent. So it doesn't exist, right? And Prabhupada says, okay, try walking through a wall. And you will know that the material world does exist, because you'll bump your head and you'll feel the pain. So it does exist. And when he's saying that it doesn't endure, is because bhutva praliyate. It'll be born, it'll die. It'll be born, it'll die. So there's no endurance. It's cyclically, it's going on and on and on. So prakriti is eternal, but then it is cyclical. There will be annihilation all the time. So we have to remember, and we have to keep this concept in our mind, like that there. So don't jump to the conclusion that the world is not does not exist. It exists. Maya is there. It is one of the energies of Krishna. So it is not separated from, that way it is linked to Krishna, but we say that it's a separated energy like that because of the nature. But it is an energy of Krishna. And the news is that we are engaged in this energy. We are in this body. And what we can do is to use this material energy in the service of the Lord. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to talk about yukta vairagya, that we don't give up the material energy saying this is material energy and I'm the soul, right? This verse can also make you think like that. I have nothing to do with the material energy. Excuse me, you have. You have to do something with the material energy. And that is because you are embodied soul. You are imprisoned in this material energy. And to make the best use of a bad bargain, let's just use this material body itself to get out of this material body, right? So isn't it amazing that you can use your prison to get out of the prison? And so that is what all devotional service is about. And Krishna is just saying that you have to also keep in mind that this is not just a statement that I'm making, right? So in the latter part, what does he say? That, and what Varshana Matiji was trying to point out earlier was that, Ubhayor api dishtontas tvanyor tattva darshabhihi. So those who have seen the truth are the people who are saying that. Those who have seen the truth. This means that those who are self-realized souls, those who know that they are the Atma, who have come to that stage, tattva darshabhihi, those who have seen the truth, and those who have also seen God, they are the ones who tell you. So we should not just come up with our conclusions and scratch our brains and then, just say that, yeah. I mean, I remember I came across a person from here 10 years ago. He was writing a book, and very complicated book he wrote. He gave me the manuscript of the book as a gift. And he wrote, it was about God, a book on God, so to speak. And then his conclusion was that he's God. And as part of promoting the book, he was going to Barnes and Noble and, you know, all the places, and he was speaking about his book, which was selling for $20 or $10, I think. But anyway, he invited me for one of his speeches, and I went there, and he said that he was there, and he had a co-writer from Sweden, so both a lady, and so both of them said, yeah, so this is a book. He explained some complex things which I never understood, and then in the end he said that yeah, so we have come, myself and this lady next to me, we have come to the conclusion that we are God. And then somebody in the audience spoke up, and he said, so did you experience it? And he said no. So this fellow from the audience got up and left. And after that, I also dropped that person, you know, did not encourage, did not go to his further invitations. Like, how can you make statements like that? And that is why Prabhupada, Krishna is telling, Tattva Darshi bhi, anything that you say has to be backed up. There has to be a sound proof to when you make these kind of tall statements that I am God. Like that. So this verse is, you know, it's powerful, very beautifully constructed, very nice choice of words, and especially on picking up the synonym of a you know, a less popular synonym of a popular word. Sat is used all the time, right? We are Sat, Chit, and Anand. So it's usually used in the terms of, you know, eternality. But here he's talking about the soul, and, you know, and material, like that, not just the temporary and the permanent. Okay. So I will stop now here. We are past 8 o'clock. We're 9 minutes over 8 o'clock. And we will meet again tomorrow with a new verse. And the pronunciation of this verse I will post on the Facebook page. And I promise to the Facebook viewers that I will also go and post the new verse that we did today. And we will bake in that verse in our daily regiment in the morning, so that we will get familiar with that verse as well. And looking at Facebook, I also see that Manasi Mataji is there, and Radhika Kasturi and Nijdam Prabhu are also watching us there. It's fantastic. Okay, so have a fantastic day, and remember that you are the soul. You know, Hare Krishna. Then that
Hare
one.
Krishna.
Dandavad.
Thank you so
So when you give, when you put two orthogonal statements,
Yeah.
what is that called?
Chiasmus.
Chiasmus, right? And actually, chiasmus is also, chiasmus is a style of writing, so it can be used in any language, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in when we use it in Hindi language, it is called Vyaktikram. Vyaktikram. Vyaktikram is chiasmus in English. Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga. That kind of stuff, right? In that language, like you give me blood and I will give you freedom, is what he was saying. So it's Vyaktikram. Okay, so fantastic. And on topic of fantastic, you all have a very fantastic day. Those of you who are watching us on the Facebook as well as here on the Zoom, you have given a fantastic start to my day. And I hope it continues for all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo namo namaha. Good. Hari Hari Bol. Give me a Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Beautiful. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari.